Hi everybody, I'm Greg Fishel. Welcome to bonus weather video number 3 for this week. And it's sort of tough to give this one a title. I guess all things considered, we're going to be talking about temperatures at a couple of different levels of the atmosphere and some of the idiosyncrasies associated with that, and also what is quote unquote normal for this time of year. So let's go on ahead and get started here. And what I'm going to show you first is a couple of different levels of the atmosphere, and the scale here is much like you would see on a thermometer. In other words, the warmest is at the top and the coldest is at the bottom. Now, because the temperatures are above zero at 1,000 millibars and below zero Celsius at 500 millibars, I had to have two different scales. So for the 1,000 millibar, we go from 0C to 35C up here, and then over here, we go from minus 45C to minus 10C, okay? And this is the 500 millibar trace here. This is the 1,000 millibar, which is much closer to the ground. Now, one thing worth noting here, notice that with the 1,000 millibar, you have up, down, like this every single day. Now, admittedly, you can look at an overall trend here and see that it starts off mild, then it gets cooler, and then it bounces back again. But you have this diurnal oscillation, if you will, every day. And we did a bonus weather video a little bit ago about something called the boundary layer, which is basically the lower part of the atmosphere that is influenced by the ground, okay? And in the morning, when the sun first comes up, you don't have that influence over a very deep layer because it has to heat the ground, and then the ground heats the air above that and so forth. But as the day goes on, the atmosphere becomes well mixed over a deeper and deeper layer. And during the summer months, you can get it mixed all the way up to 6,000 or 7,000 feet rather easily. And so you're going to have this what we call diurnal variation in the temperature throughout this boundary layer, okay? But above that, where the influence of the sun and the ground and so forth is not felt, then the only really big changes that you see in those temperatures are when actual weather systems come through. And you can certainly see that here with the temperature crashing all the way down to minus 27.6 Celsius. And this occurs at 2 a.m. on Tuesday morning. So it's going to be getting much, much colder aloft at a very, very rapid rate during the day Monday leading up to this wave. And then as soon as the axis passes, look how quickly it bounces back. It warms right back up. And so then by the time you get to the end of the week, it's in basically the minus maybe 17 to minus 18 range, which is not that far away from the 30-year average for this time of year. So again, the closer you are to the ground, the more you're going to get this diurnal oscillation each day, and the farther up you go, the more the temperature trace is going to be reflective of actual weather systems that are approaching you, moving through, and then moving away. Now, the Storm Prediction Center, which is the group that issues severe weather watches for the entire country, has a really neat segment of their webpage, and it's basically called the Sounding Climatology page. And so this has all of the upper air stations, and it goes back, I don't know how many years, and basically breaks it down. And you know how we've talked about percentiles, like with the ensembles? It does the same thing here, where, what is the 25th percentile based on all the soundings in history, and what's the median, what's the 75th, and so forth. So the shaded area here indicates the most common values that you see, and this starts off in January, so of course it's cold here, and then it warms up, and then it gets cold again as we head toward December. And if we take a look at the actual statistical values here, the median, well, let's start off here. The minimum is minus 31.2 Celsius. The 10th percentile is minus 23.8, and we're going to be at minus 27.6, if only briefly, in the middle of the night on Monday night. So that is unusually cold air for this time of year at that particular elevation. The median value is about minus 17.8, and that's where we'll be by the end of next week, pretty close to the average. But for that short period of time, Monday into Tuesday, it's going to be much, much colder than most times it is at that particular elevation. And then you can see the rest of the values here, the 75th percentile at minus 15, 90th percentile minus 13, and then you get up to around minus 10, Celsius, which is about 14 Fahrenheit, that's actually considered to be pretty warm at that particular elevation for this time of year. So this is something you can, look at yourself. If you do a search and put in SPC for Storm Prediction Center and then sounding climatology, it'll come up with this page, and you might find it, sort of interesting to see how things vary throughout the course of the year. So that is the bonus weather video for this Friday, number 3 for the week. Hope you found that at least somewhat interesting. The next bonus weather video, as well as the next daily weather update, will be coming up on Monday. So you all have a wonderful weekend, and by the time we talk to you on Monday, it'll be a good bit cooler than it has been this week or is now. So prepare yourself for that. All right, folks, you all take care, and we'll talk to you soon. See you later.